Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Writers Chat. We're so glad you're with us, whether you're here in the community today as we're recording or you're watching the replay. We talk about all things writerly, for writers, about writers, everything to do about writing. And very happy to have today Melissa Stroh and Norma Poor joining me as co-hosts, and Rhonda Dragomir is our guest. Now, Rhonda is a part of our Writers Chat community, and she's been a guest before. She just does a great job teaching and talking about things like Microsoft Word and all the ins and outs of that and all kinds of other things. She and her husband live in Kentucky in horse country. She has a degree in social work from Asbury University, and she's been published in Chicken Soup for the Soul anthologies. I believe the very first time you submitted something, it was bought, so that's really, really cool. She also is Serious Writers Writer of the Year, and that was very phenomenal, and we're just really glad to see Rhonda grow as a writer, and glad she's with us and talking to us today about resources. So Rhonda, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that so much, Johnny. It's exciting for me always when I get to teach and to be participate, especially in my Writers Chat community. I love Writers Chat. And those of you that might be watching online and have never logged in, take a vacation day or a sick day or something and log in with us, because I always learn so much and I'm encouraged very, very much by this community. And I've been asked this morning to share with you some resources. And I'm a nerd. You might say I'm a super nerd. And when people say, Rhonda, how did you learn how to do this? Well, I'm rabid about information and knowledge. And I believe knowledge is power. That's a cliche. But really, I am empowered to write when I learn from others. And when I find that perfect thing that I'm looking for, I'm so happy. And I'm happy to share with you today some of these things that have really encouraged me in my journey as a writer. And we all lack confidence, so we look for things that teach us or train us or help us, and we're on this quest to be better, better, better. Well, I'm going to share with you today some of the things that I have discovered that make my writing not just better but easier, because there's nothing really easy about writing.
No.
Anybody can write. I should say there's nothing easy about writing well.
No.
And it really is a discipline, it's a craft, it's a skill. And there are, though, ways of helping. And so I have a lot to share with you today. I expect I'm not going to finish my list. If I don't, I don't, but we'll see.
Not surprised.
Well, I'm also like hyper type A, like be over prepared. Boy Scouts are happy to be prepared. I have to be over prepared or I'm not happy. So I am a little over prepared today, but we're going to put the links. If they go by too fast for you, the links are going to be in the chat. Download the chat at the end. I also have created a Word document with these links. And I haven't checked this out with anyone, but I would love to make that available on the Writers Chat Facebook group.
Absolutely.
But you can just download the Word document. And I don't know if you know this, but if you hold down the Control key and click on a link, it takes you in your browser directly to that link. So that if you are worried about spelling or how long some of these links are, get the Word document, open it up, and access it from there.
So before you get started, I really want to thank you for that, and then just tell people who are watching on the replay who might not feel like they have access to the chat. The chat does get uploaded to the Writers Chat Facebook group, and Rhonda's Word document will be there too. So if you're watching by replay, just get into the Writers Chat Facebook group. If you're not a member of it, just ask to be. There are a couple little questions to answer, and honestly, if you don't answer the questions, we won't let you in, but if you answer the questions, we will, and then you can have access to all of that information. So yeah, thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome. I'm glad to do that. The very first thing I'm going to say is just be sure your computer has enough memory, because some of these resources I'm going to offer you might say, well, that didn't work for me, or it worked really slow. And if your computer really starts slowing down with some of these apps, you might need more memory. The other thing I'm going to tell you before you get online to all of this, some of what I'm going to give you, the free resources online are loaded with advertisements. Okay, there's cookies everywhere. If you're a dieter, don't go. Okay, but there are just cookies everywhere and advertisements and so forth, and you can get in trouble sometimes if you're not careful. Now, I trust the sites I'm going to give you today, but that's just a good tip. I will tell you, because people have asked me, I use a security called WebRoot, and that link is not in, but it's just web and root. It's very easy. The reason I have that is because it was recommended to me by a friend who's an IT specialist. And if you have Norton or you have McAfee or some of these very common antivirus solutions, they can get hacked because there are so many users. WebRoot is a smaller company. Their virus definitions are really good. I've never gotten into trouble. And I get alerts if anybody's doing anything fishy. So just get yourself good security, get yourself some memory on your computer, and let's go. The first resources I want to share with you are those you can access online. And I'm really, really not kissing up, but I love anything and everything from Serious Writer. I'm a Serious Writer fan, and I will be attending their conference in Ohio next week, and I just can't wait. But I have never found anything useless on Serious Writer. And sometimes you will go through a training, and you're like, well, that was a big waste of time. I love Serious Writer. I would not be where I am today without them. And that's not just because they gave me their big award. I had to earn it. And one of the ways I earned it was by receiving and applying the training they gave to me. So I love Serious Writer. And that's seriouswriter.com. And from there, you can get to their other resources. And I'm going to mention some of those later in this chat. Also, some of you are visual learners. You learn by what you see. Some of you are auditory learners. You learn by what you hear. So the first resource I'm going to share with you is a couple of podcasts. And I'm going to share my screen because I'm really not in love with myself so much that I think that I should just be on here all the time. My screen is a lot more interesting. Oh, that's Greece. All right. Let me just tell you that I have a couple here of websites, and I'm going to try to demonstrate them to you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great, because I lost everybody. There you are. You were under the chat. You were buried. You did not even know you were suffocating, but you were until I just released you. Okay. I love Thomas Umstattd, and his name is real unusual to spell, but he has a podcasts and things that are just so helpful. I recently listened to a podcast he did where he had a live interview with Bob Hostetler. It was great. And most of the questions people were asking, he was like, well, excuse me, Elizabeth Warren, I have a plan for that. And he had just covered so very well many aspects of the writing career. I love Thomas Umstattd, and his podcast is really good. Another one I'm going to recommend to you is a Serious Writer podcast, a Serious Writer affiliated podcast, Brew and Ink. You may not have heard of Brew and Ink podcast, but look at this. We've got flash fiction. We've got all kinds of things here that he's going interviews with people. There are so many topics here, and you can learn a lot from industry professionals by watching the Brew and Ink podcast. By the way, as I'm teaching, if you have a favorite resource, if you have a favorite podcast, just put the link up in the chat. I'm planning to download the chat myself and see what resources you use, because we've all made different discoveries that are helpful to us. So there's also great online training. And if you don't know how to do something, I guarantee you can find online some way, someone who will teach. I'm going to give you some of the better resources that I've discovered. I taught a chat on websites, and those of you that are looking at the video, you can go back into the Writers Chat archives and look up my session that I taught on websites. But I wanted to let you know a fellow named Tyler. I need to email Tyler and tell him he should promote me because I'm promoting him. This is Tyler.com. And this is how I learned to build websites. Somebody told me go with WordPress, and I'm like, I was all confused. This guy, he gives videos, his little learn how. He comes up with videos, and it's step by step with no. He has 29 videos here, step by step with no steps left out. So if you're into, you have to delete a WordPress page, and you don't know how to do that. There that is. I recommended to someone else lesson 18 last night here on how to import or make a new page on your website. And this is wonderful. Tyler, I really appreciate what he does. And he also gives stuff away. This is all free, by the way. There's no charge for this training. It is the best training I found online. He also gives you templates. So if you're like, I don't know how to design a page, I don't know what looks right. Well, here he has templates for footers are not exciting, but here's header images. I've used this one several times. This V5 hero image. Wouldn't that look nice? Wouldn't you like to put that up on your about page and just import it and use it? And you can do that on Tyler.com. He gives these all away for free. He does recommend you sign up with HostGator, and I think that's how he makes his money. And I will tell you, I signed up with HostGator, and I love them as a web host. So I did really, if you want to know how to make a website, I wanted to recommend Tyler.com. I also wanted to recommend to you the Serious Writer Academy. Let's see if I can get it up there. Serious Writer Academy. Okay. And we're going to go into it. I'm logged in with them all the time. I am always looking for training. And I want to tell you, these courses are outstanding. Outstanding. I heard Bethany teach live Zero to Book Deal. That's a great workshop. Here's a workshop on Canva for $29. Here's repetition, rhyme, and rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. I can't even say it. Okay. But these classes are wonderful. I've taken classes on here from Victoria Duerstock. I've taken some of Bethany's classes. Here's one that's free. 10 Ways to Catch an Agent's Eye. And that's Hope Bollinger. I've not looked at that one yet, but you will see here kind of a la carte different classes. Now, if you're really going to get into the classes, I recommend you join the Serious Writer Club because you get discounts on classes, you get discounts on other things. But do check out the Serious Writer Academy. And now, lest you think I am just one big commercial for Serious Writer Academy, I want you to look also at the Christian Writers Institute. Same thing, a la carte classes. They have different writing tracks. They have audio courses, video courses, PDF. Here's a free class on writing book proposals by Steve Lobby. I have actually watched that. It's wonderful. And here's 100 courses. Here's their teachers. You know, and these are industry professionals. And you can find a lot of wonderful classes on the ChristianWritersInstitute.com. So that's training. We did podcasts, we did training. I just want to show you and demonstrate some other resources that are here online, some that you may have heard of, some you may not. I want to be sure that I'm including tips for both fiction and nonfiction writers. So be encouraged. Whether you write fiction or nonfiction, there's something for you in this class today. So first of all, I want to introduce you to a site called Bible Hub. A lot of people use Bible Gateway. I like Bible Gateway, but I also like Bible Hub because I can look at a verse and see it in several different versions. I can copy and paste out of Bible Hub. It's very friendly to paste into Word, and it doesn't usually mess up my formatting. But I can go to, I've got a verse I'm looking at in First Timothy. And here I just go 1 Timothy, and then I'm in chapter 2. Now I've got a lot of things open, and so it's going to act kind of slow. But here's 1 Timothy. You see, and it gives me not only the verse in all these versions. It gives me cross references. It lets me access a study Bible. It will show me commentary, all kinds of things there. I love Bible Hub, and I'm there a lot on Bible Hub when I'm doing my Sunday school lessons or when I'm doing research. So I just encourage you to get on there and look around. There are also some great commentaries. And before I teach, I often like to find out, well, what did Matthew Henry say about this? Or what is in Barnes' notes about this? Or and there are several different kinds of commentary. Look at all of them. So I can find out what people a whole lot smarter than me said. And sometimes I've been prevented from saying something stupid by checking out something somebody said that was smart, okay? So I love Bible Hub. Another resource I want to tell you about, and most of you probably use this, is dictionary.com. And if there's a word I don't know, or I want to be sure I'm looking at it right, I will put in, what word shall I put in? Somebody tell me a word to put in. I hadn't even really thought this far. Okay, here's one I used the other day, languor. First of all, I did not know how to spell it because I did OU and it's UO. Okay, whatever that is. All right, and search. We're going a little slow. Okay, it is a lack of energy or vitality. It is sluggishness. Maybe you would say, Rhonda, I would never use that word ever. Okay, let's just put in a generic word here like sleepy. And you're like, I've used sleepy 6 times in this chapter already. I need something else besides sleepy. Okay, there we know usually the definition, but I wanted to show you. Dictionary.com and thesaurus.com are married to each other, husband and wife. Here, I'll let you figure out which is which gender. But I can get onto thesaurus.com right from there, and I just put in my word sleepy. Hopefully this is not that strange. Some of you know that you can do this online. If you're still, got a book on your bookshelf that would kill a small animal, try instead to use the online resources. It's a lot easier. So I can be drowsy, lethargic, listless, quiet, sluggish, comatose. Hopefully none of us are comatose today. Dopey, dozy, draggy, heavy, hypnotic. Okay, it's just an online thesaurus. And what I wanted to point out is you can find them both at the same place. If you're on one, you can easily use a tab to go back and forth between dictionary and thesaurus.com. I'm also going to show you now something. This is one of my little secrets. I'll bet you've never heard this before. So I love giving you something new. It's called Capitalize My Title. How many of you have trouble remembering which words in something get capitalized? I hate it because first of all, you have to figure out what part of speech the crazy word is, right? So I'm going to close some of these windows. Sorry. Bye, Thomas. Bye, Serious Writer. Bye. Okay, now this should work better. So on my capitalization tool, all I have to do is type it in, no capitalizing or anything. So how to now, how many of you could have capitalized that correctly? I'm always, it's the adverbs that trip me up, without, and than, or, look at, capitalize it all for me, nothing, copy, paste. It's called capitalizemytitle.com, and it's free. So if you can't figure out how to capitalize something, don't spend a lot of time in your grammar book. Just go on this website, type it in with no caps, and boom.
Hey, Rhonda, while you're there, can you show us, like, do any of the other ones, like you've got APA open, but there's Chicago and all that? I'm just curious if any of them.
Okay, look, the Chicago style knocked off the W. Okay, so if you have a contract and you're told, I want you to write APA here has the W capitalized, Chicago does not.
Interesting.
AP has a capitalized MLA, and if you're writing for the New York Times, you want a capital. Okay, so knock yourself out.
Yeah.
So it gives you the different styles here, and that is really something. That is really nice. Now look, you know, ads for Macy's. I don't know why, because I have not shopped at Macy's in eons. But that's something you just have to get used to. These free resources, they're always coming up with pop-ups. So that's one of my favorites. Now, another one of my favorites is, and I taught about this when I was doing, when I was teaching the class on Microsoft Word, I taught you about alt codes. And I wanted to show you altcodes.net. Someone recently who actually is live with us said, I have a friend and her name is Renee. And Renee is supposed to have that little thingy on it, you know, the little accent mark on the E. Well, if you look down here, I'm looking for that particular, well, where did it go? Of course, now I can't find it. There, okay, here it is. Do you see right here? Everybody
Yes.
see it? It is Alt 0233. Now I'm going to go to my Word document and I'm going to type in Renee just on my keyboard. Can you see that? It's just plain. But if I do RENE and then hold down my Alt key and type in 0233 and let go, there it is with an E. Is that not cool? That is very cool. Okay, so if you are writing something Viking and you need that crazy O with the weird thing, you know, you can find letters and symbols and things here. It gives you the code. If you're writing a math text and you need greater than or equal to, there's your sign. Okay, and you just hold down your Alt key and type in 0243 and there it would be. You know, if you don't believe me, I could do it again, but I'm going to go on. I love alt codes because what it does, it allows me to keep typing and I don't have to get off of my out of my Word document to get that funky E with the grave or accent or whatever you call that. Okay, French. You know, if you've got some, we who write historical fiction love. We have all these weird things, and they have not just lowercase letters; they have capital letters. You know, and they have signs. There's a copyright sign and certain things, and if you know, you can just use these. And I tell you, these work on websites. These work a lot of different places if you have the right keyboard alt code. Okay, I'm going to move on. So now let's talk about grammar and self-editing. How many of you use Grammarly? Just raise your little hand and wave at me if you use Grammarly. Okay, Grammarly is great. I found something better, in my opinion, than Grammarly, and I'm going to share that with you. But Grammarly is a great resource. It's free. One of the things I wanted to show you, look how slow my computer is right now. It's because I've got some things open down here later that I want to show you. And everything you open, by the way, slows your computer down because it's thinking. So you can, it does have a browser plugin, which is nice because wouldn't you like, if you use an online email, if you're Yahoo or Gmail or whatever, wouldn't you like it to check your grammar while you're writing to the editor? Everybody nod your head. Yes, I would like my grammar checked before I send an email. Grammarly has browser extensions that will help you if you're composing your email online, check your grammar. So that's what this is, emails and messages, and you see them there. It is also free. So I do, Grammarly, it's a great resource, but I want to show you a couple things, a couple other things. First of all, I want to show you another website that's called Grammar Girl, and it comes out quick and dirty tips, which is, you know, not necessarily something that you would think of, but how many of you have ever used Grammar Girl? Nobody's used Grammar Girl. Okay, some of you have used Grammar Girl. She is great, and I don't have the right link. Let me do it this way, and this is my Word document, by the way, and here is Grammar Girl. Where is she? So if I hover my mouse there, watch how this works. Quick control and click, then my browser will open with her.
She often comes up in searches too. Like if I've searched something, her articles often come up.
Okay, you're exactly right, Johnny. You're right. And I don't know what I've got going on there. They want me to
Yeah, I don't know either.
like, woohoo! All right. So, Grammar Girl, and
There
she will
she
come up.
is.
I mean, how many of you can still not get lay and lie? Ah, I've been
Oh,
on her lay and lie page a dozen times. Okay.
me too.
And I, about the minute I think I have it all sorted out, I'm confused again. But
Yeah.
she does a really great job of explaining it and explaining it why. And she does come up, she's a top hit. If you search lay versus lie, she will be one of the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I love Grammar Girl, and that I really appreciate her. Also, for those of you that are nonfiction writers, if you are writing in Chicago Manual of Style, did you know it's online?
Mm-hmm.
The Chicago Manual of Style. Um, I was on here recently. This is a link that I have clicked on, trying to figure out. I did a nonfiction submission to a contest, and I needed to figure out citations, and I wanted to use the Chicago style. So here it gives me an example of how to do it. But that is online, chicagomanualofstyle.org. And a lot of writers and editors like the Chicago Manual format. So you can get that. There is a subscription for $39 for a year, but you can also just type in CMOS, CMOS on your browser and citations, and it will bring you in for free, and you can kind of be sneaky. This is what I actually typed in when I was looking for it, and see, look. And the Purdue Writing Lab, they come up a lot on my searches when I'm doing citations and things. So some of these, look at, here's the citation quick guide. And that's actually how I got to the page that I was looking for. See, that's the page. Well, it gives me. So I like folks to know the Chicago Manual of Style Nonfiction Writers is online, and you can kind of sneak in the back door even if you don't have a subscription. But I wanted to demonstrate for you today just one of my favorites. It is this is called AutoCrit. Here it is, AutoCrit. How many of you have ever heard of AutoCrit, of those of you that are still alive? Only Melissa. Okay, I'm going to give you a little tour of AutoCrit. It has a free option, and then I'm going to share with you something that really exciting with AutoCrit. They should pay me too, Johnny. I really should be getting paid for these people. It is particularly for fiction, but you can also load up nonfiction because here's what it does. I've already preloaded. I logged in. I preloaded my document. There it is. You see it there in the editing window. And like I said, I'm a nerd. I love grades. So I run this report. It gives me a grade of an 85.37. And I'm like, well, that kind of stinks because I always try to get over 90. But it's grading me. It is calculating in my document these things: pacing and momentum, dialogue, strong writing, word choice, repetition. It is comparing it to fiction. It's giving me readability, and it's checking my grammar. Okay, so it does all those things, and it gives me this summary report. Well, I'm like, okay, why did I not get 100? Everybody wants 100, right? I tell you what, I've never gotten above a 93 on this, and part of it is personal choices. But here it's going to show me, this is really important for fiction writers. Do you have a paragraph that is bogging down, that they think is really interrupting your pacing? Well, they're going to tell you here in this pacing thing, and see, it comes up with a highlight. Now this is a story for Chicken Soup. It's not my actual fiction, right? But I write my nonfiction sometimes with a fiction slant. That's just me. But it shows me that the pacing there I might want to look at. It will also show me dialogue. And you know, you're not supposed to ever use adverbs in dialogue. If you have used adverbs in dialogue, they will come up. Look at me, none found. And it's so encouraging. It says, great work. And I'm like, great work, Rhonda, no adverbs in my dialogue. It will also show me, here's strong writing. It will show me all my adverbs. Here's a great one. It will show me passive voice. Okay,
that's good.
But there are some indicators for passive voice. Now look here. Oh, I've got some work to do. I used the word had 8 times. And that is too many.
How long was
Because
your document? How many words was your document?
it's about 900 words.
Oh, yeah.
That I've got there. But you can load a document up to 8 to 10,000 words for free.
Wow.
Okay. So I've put entire chapters of my fiction. People say, Rhonda, how did, listen, nothing I submitted anywhere did not go through autocrit. And it caught a lot of things that made my writing better. So I need to go through here. See, it shows me where all of those are. And what I have done is I go back to my Word document on mine and I change it and then I upload it again and then I rescore myself. So it shows me where the hads are. The hadn't, that's okay, you know, but they want me to remove at least one of those hads. Here's the showing and telling. How many of you have trouble with showing and telling?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a biggie.
It tells me I have used the word get 4 times. Okay. Well, this is because this is a story about my dad and all the pranks that he played. This is going to Chicken Soup for their laughter thing. So this was his mantra. I don't get mad. I get even. I just get even. So I'm going to lose those, save those. But look, it is showing me a could, and it is telling me I've used 4 coulds, and I need to remove one. Okay. So it's not going to remove them all. Then here's a great one. Cliches. How many of you are prone to cliches? Here's my cliche. I used presented itself. Okay. I used out of sight. Right.
Yeah.
So I need to check into my document and it's there. They should be highlighted. Okay. Opportunity presented itself. Well, I can tell you right now looking at this, and I have not edited this. I am being very transparent and vulnerable today.
Hey, Rhonda, can you correct on there then, or do
Yes.
you have to, okay, you could actually
You
correct
can.
it there and then save it and bring it back over?
You can export it back to Word. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop now, but it will show you redundancies. Do I have any redundants? No, I don't. That's not one of my traps. But then here it will show me word choice. It'll show me generic descriptions. Like if I use
wow.
big, if I used big, well, here I used large. Okay. I might want to consider beefing that up to a better word. Okay. I have to click on it for it to show up. Okay. It will show me sentence starters. And this is one place where I got scored down. 3 times I used the word when. And I used as, I used before. For my sentence starters, it tells me how many times. If I use initial pronouns or names, if say you have 6 paragraphs in a row that start with your character's name, you're going to discover that when you use that. Okay, so it is highlighting where I might have problems. Initial pronouns, I used he to start a sentence 8 times. Well, I'm going to change some of that. I can tell you that right now. Okay, even though it doesn't recommend that I do. So I love, here's one more I'm going to show you. Phrase frequency. So it will show me my phrases. 2-word phrases, I use the stage 4 times, right? And this is I did not know that until I looked at this. Here's the stage, the stage, the stage, the stage. Do you see them? 4 of them.
Yeah.
I need to go back and rewrite. Okay. So this is, I love this. Now, one more, I'm spending quite a lot of time here, but I love this tool and it's very useful. It will give me, it will let me compare to fiction. And look, here's a genre. I can choose my genre. If you're writing fiction, it will let me actually compare my document to, oh, I just went like completely blank here. All right, let me go back. To general fiction, movie script, mystery, suspense, romance, that's where I would be.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Science fiction and fantasy. Oh, now it wants me to log in. Well, it kicked me out. It must be time to go. So
that was really interesting though, Rhonda. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that.
It is
free.
But there are a lot more features. It's like any other program. A lot of what's free gives you a better version of it if you pay. Once in a while, Autocrit comes up with a lifetime membership offer. And I get on their emails. I sign in, I create an account, I get emails. I bought a lifetime membership to Autocrit for $140. And to me, that is just a huge, good
Yeah.
investment. And I have asked them to put into the chat, the AutoCrit, they have some kind of drawing or something going on through Halloween. If you get in there before October 31st, they will, you can enter in a contest to get a free lifetime membership.
Oh, wow. That'd be
So
cool.
I would encourage all of you to do that.
And Jeannie is saying in the chat, Black Friday's coming up, so there may be offers. And truly, I know Jeannie often takes advantage of Black Friday offers. It's amazing what different companies, writing-related companies, will have available.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth paying attention that day for as a writer. You can often find things at a really reduced rate. You know, a lot of the tech companies have jumped in on that, you know, so if you're not out in Kohl's or Penny's and spending your money that way, spend a little bit of time online.
And Bethany just said they're doing Cyber Monday sales at Serious Writer Academy.
All right.
The Monday
Great.
after Thanksgiving.
I just also wanted to show you, AutoCrit sends out a blog, and some of their blog posts have been really interesting to me. And here's their blog. They have articles. Second person point of view, what is it, how to use it? Active and passive voice with examples. How many words in a novel? How many of you want to know how long your novel should be? Great articles, great blogs, 12 content writing tips to increase your audience. What's the score? Game of Thrones. You know, show, don't tell, why it matters in your book. I mean, this is a fabulous resource. And now I will move on because I have others. Some of you want to know, I need to tell you real quick. Oh goodness, look at the time. I need to tell you real quick, you got to be careful where you get pictures. So I'm going to tell you a story. I have a personal trainer, and he's young and he's cute. But he has a blog. You can congratulate me. He has a blog, and he got a letter from a man wanting to sue him for $3,000 over his use of an image. And he's in the soup. Lawyers, the whole business. And you know what it was? It was a one-way sign, and the one-way street sign put behind it the shadow of a cross. So I don't know if that man will listen to this, but I think that was dirty trick to get some Christians to use an image that was really would really be popular, and now he's going behind everybody suing them. So I want to take you, most of you know about Pixabay.
Yes.
And I will recommend Pixabay. I recommend Pexels, you know, and they all work the same. Pixabay, Pexels, and Unsplash all work about the same way. Okay, so you get on their page, you type in what kind of image you're looking for, and they will give you these free images that are beautiful, okay, and free to use. And this is the safe way for doing images. I do want to show you one you probably never heard before. It's called Yo Priceville Gallery. It's gallery.yopriceville.com. Okay, and you're going to say, Rhonda, you're just such a nerd. I found this when I was working somewhere else. And these are all PNG images. Okay, so they're all optimized for the internet and for blogs and things. But then, and they're free to use. Let's say I wanted to put something, well, let's just do free clip art pictures. And I tell you, there are a lot of ads on this. But I want to tell you, they're pretty high quality clip art. How many of you need clip art? So let's just look, we're coming up to Halloween, but I hate Halloween. So let's do Thanksgiving. Okay, and here are all these PNG images for Thanksgiving. Now I will tell you, it moves kind of slow because it's loading a lot of images. And oh, I like cornucopia. So I'm going to double click here on cornucopia, and there it is. Now folks, that is a pretty nice looking PNG image, okay? And there's some are cheesier than others, but this is free. Right click, save as, and I have cornucopia, okay? So if you're sending out an e-newsletter, or if you just wanted something cute, they do have some GIFs that are animated and things, and that link is in your chat. So oh, look, there's minions. I always get distracted by minions. All right, so that's photos. And they're, those links are important, especially if you're putting up something on your website or on a blog. Now I want to show you something about searching. I'm going to shut out some of these. I want to give you a tip. Let's say that I wanted to search something about, Dragomir is Romanian. We're going to have a little fun here today. So I'm going to search Romanian, and I'm going to write a book about Romanian. First of all, I have to spell it right. Romanian counts. Okay? And you all know a famous Romanian count.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so here comes my search terms. Guess what it's giving me? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're telling me how to count to 10, right?
Because of the counts, yeah.
So you've done this on your searches, and you're like, that's not what I wanted.
That's not what I meant.
So here's I don't know if you know how to do this. You put Romanian count in quotation marks. Have you ever done this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And up it comes Romanian counts. Oh, well, Romanian count invites me to his manor in Miculoșoara, Romania, the Danube Post. Okay, so now I'm go with a Romanian, and of course Count Dracula is a very the mystical tales from Transylvania. Okay, so I've got much better results. And especially if I'm looking for a person, I will put their name in quotation marks. And I was going to be real cute and show Gene Wise or Johnny Alexander, but I've searched you guys. I've stalked you so many times online that you're at the top of all my searches for that. So I had to do something weird. It's something that wasn't remembered by my computer. It's smarter than me. It remembers everything. Right. So if you're searching and you don't find what you want, put it in quotation marks and you'll get a much better search. How many of you would love to know? I was writing, and along in my historical novel, I said, somebody doesn't cotton to something. Well, I thought, now that might be how my character would talk, but when did that phrase come into use? Because I'm writing 16th century. So there's a word called etymology, E-T-Y. Okay, and it's giving cotton. It just bumped me off my crazy, I have to go back and put my quotation marks in again and enter. It tells me, here's cotton to, the meaning and origin of this phrase. There's a place called Wiktionary that will give you the origin of the meaning. But here I am, cotton to, the meaning and origin of this phrase. Anyway, I can tell you that I found as early as 1648, they were using that phrase. And I'm like, yay! Only I'm in 1588. Okay, so I really didn't want to use that phrase in my book because it wasn't around. I wanted to use the term sommelier. Well, that didn't come around until the 1800s. So if you want to know, you should be diligent if you're writing historicals like me.
You should, because there are people who know
the etymology of certain phrases.
Yeah.
And the word is etymology. And Norma, or Melissa, I'm sure you know how to spell that word, and put it in because then if you use that in your search, you'll come up with that. And
Rhonda, let me interrupt you just a second. We got a comment in the chat I wanted to read. Catherine says you can also use the minus sign next to a word to keep it out of your search. And if you log out of your Google account, you can get a search that would be closer to be anonymous. So if you wanted to stalk someone without your computer holding on to it, I guess, or if you wanted, like you said, look up Jeannie or me, but get all that stuff out, you'd have to log out of your Google account. So just a couple more little hints from the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine.
Okay. So remember, here's the word shut-eye. I wanted to use shut-eye. Somebody needed to get some shut-eye. Well, $18.99. So, boo. But, if you're doing medieval herbs, all right, and here they are. I just wanted you to remember, you can get the news, the websites and so forth, and you can see I've searched this before. But you can also get images, okay? So, and don't fail to know that you can get images that way. You can also get videos. And here's a video, 2 minutes and 35 seconds on medieval herbal remedies. All right. So once you have searched something and you're looking for all resources, don't forget you can look for images and videos along with your news items, because I have found a lot of information I wanted to use that way. Now, I am quickly running out of time. So I'm going to, the document I put up will have some programs that I recommend on my computer. I was going to demonstrate them for you. Especially I wanted to show you, well, I tell you what, I'm going back. Blogs, this I can do fast. I recommend the Steve Lobby Agency blog. That link will be in, I have learned so much from them. I recommend the Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference blog put out by Edie Melson. That is fabulous. Okay, and it comes every day and it's got useful information. For newsletters, you know, somebody told me one time, you should know your genre. You should know what's happening in the publishing world. And I'm like, how do I do that? Well, I have a link in here in our resources. I'm just going to go to my link down here and get in there, because I want you to be sure that I show this to you. No matter what your genre is, you can find information about that particular genre on Publishers Weekly, okay? And they're online, publishersweekly.com. Oh, my poor little computer is working so hard. Okay, so you have to enter your email, and I will go ahead and put in my email, just so these aren't grayed out anymore. And they know that I'm already subscribed to some of these newsletters. Here's a daily newsletter. Do you want to know what the bestseller was in your genre this week? I happen to know in Christian romance, it's Debbie McComber.
Wow.
All right. And you can find information like that with their daily newsletter. Here's one for children's bookshelf. Here's a tip sheet. Books that are hitting the store this week. But I want to show you something here. Look, this religion book line. And I am subscribed to the religion book line. And it tells me what's going on in the world of Christian publishing, you know, which is not always easy to find. Who's a hot author? What books are we expecting? Information on upcoming titles and so forth. So I have subscribed also to the religion book line. So there are several newsletters there, but just their plain old site in the front gives you news about the publishing, what's big and so forth. And on their homepage, if you go down here, most popular, look, this week's bestsellers. So somebody call out a genre. Oh, Johnny, you're the only one that's got it.
Historical fiction.
Okay, so hang on. Bestsellers. All right, and now it lets me choose the genre. What did you say?
Historical fiction.
Historical fiction.
Is it going to say historical as an option?
No.
Oh, do history and politics. That's good.
Well, here's religion fiction.
Okay, let's do that one.
Religion fiction. It's going to tell me the bestseller this week is a book called The Oracle by Jonathan Cahn. He's the one who wrote, what did he write?
I don't know.
He wrote The Harbinger.
The Harbinger, okay. And a Ted Decker book, Behind the Red Rope. Strands of Truth by Colleen Coble. Okay, that's fiction. Here's religion nonfiction. Listen, folks, we should know this. We should know who's selling and what they're writing about. Lisa Turkhurst, her book is #1. Girl, Wash Your Face. You know, if you've not heard these, you need to know what they're writing, what is selling, what is popular right now. And of course, Jesus Calling is there all the time. Okay? That's a bestseller in religion nonfiction. Okay, but if you're writing secular, look, front list fiction, children's picture books. You know, a lot of people writing picture books. Well, here's Good Night, Little Blue Truck, Room on the Broom, Pete the Cat, Trick or Pete. Okay, so the Halloween titles are really trending this week's bestsellers. Okay, this is great information that you should know, especially if you're getting ready, like I am, to make a pitch. Now it is 11:52.
Yeah, we probably need to let people come back in and see if we've got some questions. There have been some good comments in the chat, and I haven't gotten to, get all of them. There is DuckDuckGo, which I had not heard of before. That is a search engine, correct? Someone correct me if I said that. Yeah, if I said that incorrectly. Yeah, Rhonda, this was really wonderful. Just a lot of information and resources and.
Well, let me hold up my books. I've got 5.
Okay.
It's all going to be reversed. This is the Christian Writers Market Guide.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is 2012. I probably need a new one.
Yeah.
But that gives you the entire market. Okay. And that is really important. Here's one that you may not have heard of. The Christian Writer's Manual of Style. Did you want to know, should you capitalize deity pronouns? Should you capitalize the word church? Under what circumstances? How should you use this is kind of standard for the Christian publishing world. I recommend anything by C.S. Murphy. Some of you know.
Oh,
C.S.
yes.
His book, Writer to Writer. This is the best, and it's so easy and fun to read. And he has 2 books out for writers. I recommend anything by these ladies. Okay, they have about 8 books. If you write fiction and you're trying to do an action beat rather than saying she was sad, okay, and using passive voice, you can find different actions that sad people do, okay? And some of them are intuitive, some of them are not, but it can help you in writing action beats and emotions and so forth. And then the last one, and then I'm done. The Children's Writer's Word Book. I did recently write a children's book, and I found out the word wrestle is 4th grade. And if you want to write to 2nd grade, you use the word battle, okay? So a 2nd grader understands battle, but they've never seen wrestle. So that's just one word that I looked up.
Wow.
In the Christian, it's not a Christian, Children's Writer's Word Book. Okay, I'm done. I need a drink.
I was going to say, do you need to drink water or something? All right. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for all that information. And thank you for being so generous to create that Word document too. And again, that will be in the Writers Chat Facebook group. And we invite you to go over there and find it later today. The replay will be up later today because we've already had people say they're going to have to listen to the replay. And also the chat. Melissa will have the chat in later today. I almost forgot what I was talking about.
I will just say, is there any question? Does somebody have a resource that you were hoping to see and you did not see?
Good question.
I think everybody's head is still spinning from everything that came all this great stuff that came our way. It's like,
or they can share their favorite that they learned today. And I tell you, mine was, I like the alt codes. I really like the autocrit.
Yes.
I'm going to hop on that autocrit. I made myself a little sticky note to keep by my desk on a couple of them that I had not used before.
Yeah. Autocrit was one I hadn't heard of, but I plan, like Eugene, I plan on checking that out.
The best thing is to go in and do your revisions and then run that summary report again and watch your score go up. I mean, for a goal-oriented person like me, I just can't wait. It's like, what do they think of what I wrote? And
what was your highest score? What was your highest score?
My highest score, I got to a 92 one time.
Okay.
And I was really
That's our goal to beat 92.
really proud of myself.
Not that I'm
part of it was stuff I left for style. It's doing content, and it's a computer. It's not as smart as me. Thank you.
That's right.
I know sometimes the word I want or how I want to say something, so I will leave something even if it scores me down.
Right. But I would think that would raise our whole level of writing to start seeing. I bet every one of us learned something.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jean, I won some contests, and I just gave away my best secret. So.
There you go.
I'm a nice person.
Rhonda,
Patricia, go ahead.
Really has that same sort of percentage in the free version where you can go in and you can see what it'll just start inching up as you do it. And what you do is you trick it. You take out the portions like the the quote that has the word get, just sort of take it out and see what your score, it'll go up if you get those exceptions out of there. If you like that, sort of see what else is there.
Now,
It's
Patricia,
really
did
good.
you say that was a different website or the same?
Grammarly does the similar
Okay.
thing it does in the score. And so I've put things in there and I take out the things that I know I want to keep because it's a quote or somebody's voice. And then you see your score go up.
Yeah.
I never tried to trick them, Patricia.
Yeah, that's
sneakier.
actually, I think that. Well, and
Then you
here's
get down
here's
to what is not intentional and what you really intended. Yeah, it's good.
sometimes too, and I was thinking about that when you had the stage and you had it 4 times really close, and that's, you probably do want to change that a little bit. But sometimes we can want to change something and then we have this convoluted sentence. And you know what? Sometimes it's better just to be repetitive than to have this weird sentence just to not be repetitive, right? So, you really do have to use some judgment on that. And some words are just like the word said. The reader just sort of goes on and doesn't even really pick up on that too much. So
I will say, I'm looking at what I didn't get to share, and on the document I'm going to give you, there is a free app called eSword, and whoever's putting the links in the chat, if you would put that link into the chat. How many of you write devotionals and you wish you knew Greek or Hebrew? Because you can learn those. You can find that on an app called eSword. And what it does is, if you've ever used a Thompson chain or a Young's or Strong's concordance, it gives you the word in the Greek, the meaning of the word. And I have really gotten some insight and light from using something called eSword. Now it's King James version because the Strong's concordance is linked to King James language. And I was going to demonstrate that. I didn't have time. But if you want to email me or just look at that eSword, it's a free app. You can download it on your computer and it's there. And many times when I'm doing my Sunday school lessons or devotionals, and I'm like, does that word really mean what I think it does? I can look it up in the original Greek or Hebrew.
I love to do that too, but I use blueletterbible.org, that website. Okay. And it's kind of the same thing, again, King James. But you can change, you can then go to your other translations and see how it is. But I just love it because it gives each word a little number, and then it shows you every time that number is used. And here's a little rabbit trail, and I'm sorry, but now that, Rhonda got me on it, here I am.
It's my
The word create is like God created the heavens and the earth. It is very amazing how that word is translated. Same Hebrew word. It's also the word when Eli's sons were dipping the fork into the pots and bringing up the meat. Same word. It was like David, or not David. David is used in there somehow too, but Joshua telling one of the tribes to go carve out the trees and to make a wider place for themselves. Same word as create. It's really, really interesting how the words are. Sorry.
It's okay. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I love it.
I'll tell a quick story. When we were in Romania adopting my daughter, we went way up into the mountains, and there was a woman there. She was 36 years old. She had 14 children and one on the way. You do the math.
Wow.
And the reason was, they told us, they had been in 1 Timothy 2:15 that a woman is saved by childbearing. Where a woman is saved through childbearing. And they had no teachers. The communists went in and they killed all of their educated pastors and so forth. They literally thought that word saved meant that her salvation depended on her having children.
Wow.
And the more children she had, the more saved she was. And her legs were turning black. She was just in such terrible shape. And the word really can also mean preserved. And that's what the meaning of that verse is, that her life will be preserved through childbearing. And then you put it in the larger context of, he was writing to the church at Ephesus, where they were doing, they trusted the goddess Diana to preserve their life through childbirth. That's why that verse is there. And the Bible says, for lack of knowledge, the people perish.
Yeah.
And, so those of us that write nonfiction and we write devotionals and things like that, we need to dig into the original language a little bit. And there are so many great tools online to do that.
Oh, that's a great way to wrap this up. Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing that. That's beautiful, really. I'm going to turn it over to Bethany real quick and let her tell you what's going on next week, and then we'll shut it down and have the after party. Take it away, Beth.
That was amazing, by the way. Like, I was listening to all that stuff. It was great. Next week, I'll make sure I say the title properly. We are talking about content creation, become a publishing group, which does not mean become a publisher. It just means think of yourself like a publishing group would. And then the 3 companies that I want to use as examples, because I also want to talk about engagement for this, are Red Bull, L'Oreal, and Wendy's. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, I'm excited.
That sounds like a good time. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being with us. If you're watching the replay and want to join us live so that you can also be part of the after party, we do this every Tuesday morning, almost every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, and you are more than welcome to join us. We thank you for being here. Those of you are here in person, and those of you watching the replay, we really appreciate you, and thank you so much for your encouragement and support. And Rhonda, again, just thank you. That was a phenomenal amount of information, and I think it's very useful to all of us, really. So thank you. All right, everybody, bye-bye. We'll see you next time on Writers Chat. Bye-bye.